Good afternoon. Welcome all of you. So, how's life? Going good? Great. Okay. So let me introduce myself. My name is Soubhik Sen, and I have been serving the students aspiring for civil service exam since the year 2000. All these years, I have been mentoring students for psychology optional and several other components of general studies. Now, that is my professional introduction. My personal introduction is, I am once again Soubhik Sen. I have one wife, one daughter. She is 12 years now. My father served into Indian Police Service in Bihar and later on Jharkhand cadre. He retired in 2003, and I lost him in 2004. Since then, we are a small family. Myself, my daughter, my mother, my wife, and I welcome all of you to become part of my extended family. Welcome, students. Okay? So before I begin the class, it will be sort of orientation lecture for the day. I would want to know from you that what has brought you to attend psychology optional class? What even gives you psychology as an optional choice? One by one. Your name is? Mehendi. Okay.
I don't know what psychology, but my mama, my uncle is a doctor, heart specialist. He also done a psychology. So when I heard about him that he also done a psychology, so I have a
Okay.
interest in that.
Okay, so you have curiosity or interest? Both. See, these terms are very important in psychology. Okay. Yeah. Rohan Raj. Okay.
When I saw like there are many optional subjects, so I thought to choose psychology because like it is the study of mind and behavior, and I read like a man knows from his mind, his behavior, and from his heart. So I think here I can improve and become the expert, and like I can improve myself.
Okay, that's a good approach. Generally, people have an impression about psychologists that they always keep judging people. Psychology and the ethics of the subject does not allow us to judge people. We can make assessment about people, but we cannot be judgmental about people. Now, he gave me a very good answer that I want to know myself better, therefore psychology. He could have told me that I want to know others. Okay, okay, yeah. Pardon?
My name is Harshit.
Okay.
Why certain people behave the certain way.
Okay. Why people behave the way they do? Good.
And just in general, human nature.
Mm-hmm.
All of this. Sir, especially Robert Greene brought my interest towards psychology.
Okay. Okay. So basically, there are several schools in psychology. One of the school in psychology is known as trade school. And trade school believe that people are born with certain kind of nature. And that nature defines the behavioral signature of that person. Okay. There is another school of psychology who totally disregard the presence of traits and nature. They said, no, any behavior is acquired, any behavior is learned due to the influence of the environment. So you are not born with any trait, you are shaped to be like something. Environmental forces operate on you and you become what your environment decides for you. Environment may include all the socially significant people, your parents, your caregivers, your teachers, your friends. Okay? Maybe your neighborhood. Yes?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This
Okay.
brought me because of my childhood things, my interest in psychology. And I got a lot of rejection when I went for first P1, second PU. I did not get the subject to study. When I was in the degree, there also I did not find the psychology because of the environment where I was studying.
Okay.
So now I feel like it is like a dream come true moment for me that I am studying the psychology. So it is one of the interested subject what I am facing.
Okay. How many of you are thinking of psychology due to curiosity? That's good. That's very, very necessary precondition. You know what is curiosity? Curiosity is the tendency to seek the missing information. And if you have curiosity in any subject, no one can stop you learning that subject. No one. And if you do not have curiosity, then no teacher on earth can ever teach you that subject. Okay? Okay. You? Good afternoon. Aditya Singh.
Because I want to know what are how the scoring curiosity.
Okay. So what is the score you expect? You are being very modest. Above 300 is a good score. Anything around 55 to 60% will throw you in the bracket of IAS if you belong to general category. Anyway, take it. Okay. You?
Studying psychology from my school time.
Okay.
And opted for psychology in my graduation also.
Ocha. Which college?
Soubhik Sen, Rajasthan.
Okay. Okay.
And now I'm also doing psychology, master's in psychology.
Okay. So what is your special paper in masters? Counseling. Okay. Good.
And to be very honest, when I was in school, so when I was preparing for the 11th or 12th, preparing for weekend, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
But unfortunately, per se, I wasn't succeeding in the examination.
Okay.
So after that, actually, it was my childhood dream to become an IAS. But first step was I wanted to become a doctor. Then I
Okay.
became- So after that, I have to take a subject that is best suitable for me. So I thought, why not psychology? Means it was my personal interest also because from my childhood, I love reading mind of people and also what is thinking and what is making us to do some tasks which we do in subconsciously, but we didn't like to do it. It was personal interest also a qualification.
Good enough. Good enough. You have two direct topics in the syllabus which are heavily loaded with medical science. Not exactly medical science like medical jargons to nahi hai usme, but like the mental disorders and mental health. This is one chapter from which you get questions every year, and a lot of marks are scoreable in that area. And another topic is again from paper 2, therapeutic approaches, in which we learn about various types of psychotherapies which are administered for people with mental distress. Right? Yeah. Okay. Due to curiosity. Okay. Good. Good afternoon. Okay.
And I feel like my nature is kind of connected to others.
Okay.
I love to connect with nature, pets, animals, and more with children and people also. And I feel like I love psychology as a subject to even learn more and to know about more and it will help me connect with nature and more with children. And for that, I have also studied psychology in my bachelor's. And I have completed my bachelor's in education also, and I love psychology in my master's, and then also I have done PhD.
Okay. Very good. At the doctor side of that, you. What is the opinion of this class about madam pursuing PhD? You heard her. कुछ बताओ, assessment करके बताओ इनके बारे में. You don't have to be judgmental. सिर्फ बताओ, मैंने तो assessment कर लिया इनके बारे में. 2-3 बार इन्होंने एक बात कही, आप लोगों ने ध्यान दिया कि नहीं? She loves to spend time with children. She loves pets. And there is one thing common between pets and children. What is that? They love you unconditionally. Yeah? See, was there a time in your life when you were loved by all without any conditions? ऐसा कोई समय था जीवन में जब आपके कोई दुश्मन नहीं थे, आपको सब लोग अगर कुछ देना चाहते थे तो प्यार ही देते थे, childhood. Even if your nose was flowing, people did not judge you. Even your clothes were dirty, people did not hate you. है कि नहीं? So what is there in children which is missing in us as adults? Since your childhood, what is the thing that we have lost from our life? Innocence. And what is innocence? Your true innocence. So what is innocence? Innocence is truthfulness. It is integrity. Innocence is a state of being in which there is zero difference between your public self and your private self. So children don't think that we have to please somebody. They say whatever comes to their mind innocently. Okay? They don't have any kind of sense of inequality. Today, you are taught by your parents, caregivers, that you should not rub your shoulders with people who are not equal to you. You should always sit with equals. But children share their toys with any child without knowing their caste, their religion, or their status. So that is innocence. So integrity means I will say what I feel is right. I will do what I think is right. And that is also called courage of conviction. ठीक है? जो आपको ठीक लगता है आप वही कहते हैं और वही करते हैं. That is innocence. ठीक है? So somewhere you will learn, in development of human behavior, you will learn in development of personality that how our personality shapes from childhood to adulthood. In fact, our personality does not develops. It gets enveloped. Our best personality was when we were children. And our worst personality is when we are adults. So personality development involves the procedure of personality de-envelopment. ठीक है? जो गलत गलत बातें सीखी हैं उसको अनलर्न करना ही पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट. To discover the child inside you is the best way to learn psychology. Right? Yes, you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. You got my demo classes from a YouTube video? Acha. Okay. You have been in this class. Okay. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Depression is known as common cold of psychopathology. ठीक है? According to World Health Organization, by 2032, every fourth person in this world will have depression. समझ रहे हैं? इतना common होगा. Your father lived a much less stressful life than what you are living, and God bless your children. Yes. Okay.
And we will see that we take the option which will help the GX. Basically, someone told me that all first three papers should be same for all. But the ethics paper,
Right.
the scoring one. And in that, I got to know that psychology will help me more. And then I took your other classes.
Okay.
In which you teach taught in the last batch. And then I got curious and then I started doing
Okay. Okay. So you have read NCERTs. Good. Okay, fine. Thank you both of you for acknowledging my teaching. Yeah. Assam, which place? Dhubli. Okay, right. I have a lot of students in Guwahati. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Okay. Good one. Yeah. Good afternoon. Mumbai, which place? Okay. 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 So good. This class is set to begin. ठीक है. मैंने इसलिए आप लोगों से पूछा because I believe that you should always do something with right reasons. You should not choose psychology due to reasons which are not worthwhile, which are not worthwhile. Okay? So yes, if you have curiosity, you have my words, together we will make it within the bracket of 60%. And that's what is required. Okay? So this is no university exam in which we plan for 90%. Are you getting it? UPSC is game of mediocrity. Very perfect people do not become IAS. Less imperfect people become IAS. मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं? तो परफेक्शन के पीछे नहीं भागना है, इम्परफेक्शन को कम रखना है. That's all. 60%, 50% इतना ही चाहिए. So middle path, गौतम बुद्ध, एरिस्टोटल, रूल ऑफ गोल्डन मीन्स. ठीक है, एथिक्स में पढ़ेंगे आप. ठीक है. So 60% of the ethics paper is based on psychology. Topics like emotional intelligence, attitudes. ठीक है. Topics like values, topics like foundational values, they are directly from psychology. ठीक है. Okay. So how we are going to proceed in this class, in this entire lecture plan, I would just give you a briefing. There are total 14 plus 14 topics spread across paper 1 and paper 2. So in total, the number of topics that you have in psychology, including paper 1 and paper 2, are 28. 14, paper 1, another 14, paper 2. Now, if you are preparing all these 28 topics, don't take my words otherwise, I can guarantee your failure. ठीक है. तो अगर ये 28 का 28 टॉपिक करना चाहेंगे तब तो पास नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है. So what is practically possible and what is actually achievable and sensibly achievable is 24 chapters. Now you would say, why leaving 4 chapters? You are leaving 4 chapters because those 4 chapters contain topics which are just duplications of what you have already done in 24. तो यूपीएससी इज ऑल्सो अबाउट लॉजिस्टिक एंड टाइम मैनेजमेंट. तो हम लोग फालतू का एक भी टॉपिक नहीं पढ़ेंगे. क्वेश्चन जहां से बन रहा है, 20 साल के क्वेश्चन उठा करके अच्छे अगर बनने लगे, मतलब आप सही ट्रैक पे. ठीक है. सो टोटल 24 टॉपिक्स हम लोग करेंगे, पेपर 1 पेपर 2 मिला के. नाउ पेपर 1 and paper 2, the whole of paper 1 is theoretical. Whole of paper 1 comprise of theories, hypotheses, experiments, experimental findings. ठीक है. whole of paper 1. First 4 chapters of paper 2 are again theoretical. And rest of the topics in paper 2 are applied. कोविड आया, कोविड पे क्वेश्चन मार दिया। अभी दिल्ली में पोल्यूशन बढ़ा हुआ है, पोल्यूशन पे क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा। राइट नाउ Hamas and Israel, IDF, Israeli Defense Forces are at war. You will get 100% question from military psychology. बात समझ रहे हैं? जो आपके आसपास हो रहा है उसे उठा उठा के क्वेश्चन पूछे। So remaining of the topics are applied now. You will get bit average kind of mark in theoretical topics. Bit average kind of mark. Because examiner has a limitation. He cannot give you too much marks in theoretical topics. But in applied topic, they are very, very generous. Very, very liberal marking and scoring will be there. Because in applied topics, you write your own opinion. That is your original answer. The theories have been given by some experts, some psychologists. You are just duplicating their views. You are not producing something from your end. Okay? Yet, if you want to cross 320, 330 slab of marks, then there are some topics which you must attempt when you get a question from them, and you will get a question from them. I'll just give you those names of those topics. All the topics which belong to the domain of applied, whether it be education psychology, whether it be environmental psychology, or say military psychology, sports psychology, psychology of terrorism, ठीक है, और से साइकोलॉजी ऑफ सोशल इंटीग्रेशन एंड प्रेजुडिस, ठीक है, ये जितने भी अप्लाइड टॉपिक हैं इन पे क्वेश्चन करना ही करना है और आपको नंबर छन के मिलेगा। मतलब यू विल गेट मोर मार्क्स देन व्हाट एक्चुअली योर आंसर्स डिजर्व। नाउ यू विल आस्क मी व्हाई। इट इज बिकॉज none of these applied topics are there in university syllabus. So whatever you write, that comes as a noble answer to the examiner, क्योंकि एग्जामिनर को नहीं आता है अप्लाइड टॉपिक्स, वो आपसे जानना चाह रहा है। तो आप कुछ भी थोड़ा सा भी सेंसिबल लिखते हैं तो बड़ा खुश हो जाता है और आपको बहुत नंबर देता है, क्योंकि यूनिवर्सिटी के सिलेबस में अप्लाइड टॉपिक है ही नहीं। नाउ यू विल से देन वेयर डू यू गेट द सोर्स? वो है ना सोर्स, एक्यूमुलेटेड एक्सपीरियंस क्या होता है, ठीक है। और मैंने भी कहां से सीखा? ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग, स्टूडेंट्स से कराया। यू नो, अगर क्लास में 100 बच्चे बैठे हुए हैं और 100 बच्चे सोच रहे हैं, तो हो सकता है दे थिंक अबाउट 50 डिफरेंट आइडियाज which are not supposed to be found in any of the books, right? And those ideas come to me. I pass them on to the next batch and then the next batch, right? Some topics from paper 1 are again very, very scoring. They are called research methods. इसमें 2 चैप्टर हैं, चैप्टर 2 एंड चैप्टर 3, एंड attention, sensation, perception. Then learning plus memory, highly scoring. Intelligence, thinking, and problem solving. And one more, that is language and communication. इन टॉपिक से क्वेश्चन छोड़ना ही नहीं है। आपको बहुत मन करेगा कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्वेश्चन में पर्सनालिटी से बनाऊं, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ह्यूमन बिहेवियर से बनाऊं, लेकिन अगर चॉइस है कि पर्सनालिटी के क्वेश्चन छोड़ सकते हो और इनको पकड़ सकते हो, देन एक्सरसाइज दैट चॉइस। हमें यहां इमोशनल नहीं होना, हमें तो चाहिए मार्क्स। आर यू गेटिंग इट? तो ये ध्यान रखिएगा, क्योंकि पर्सनालिटी टॉपिक मैं शुरुआत में ही पढ़ाऊंगा। सो हाउ आई विल टेक यू थ्रू द कोर्स, आई हैव क्रिएटेड यूनिट्स, you know, of combination of certain chapters which are actually linked together. They are seemingly different, but they are not. They're extension of each other, or you can say they complement each other. So I have formed group of those chapters together, and I will take the class in form of those chunks, those groups. For example, the topic with which I will begin will be introduction personality. Now, introduction is the first chapter, personality कहीं 10-12 नंबर चैप्टर है, लेकिन ये इतने लिंक्ड है कि इनको वन गो में पढ़ेंगे. So there will not be 2 chapters for you, there will be one united chapter. I will also integrate some topics of paper 2 with paper 1, which are coterminous. For example, when we learn attitude, values and interest, in the same go, we will also learn problems of social integration, because both deal with attitude. Social integration deals with social attitude deals with attitudes in general. तो फिर आपको ना फिर वो बिखरा हुआ नहीं लगेगा, सब समेटा हुआ लगेगा. चलो, और क्वेश्चन भी वैसे ही पूछता है. In paper 1, you will see the first part of the question is from attitude, values, interest, which is a topic of paper 1. But the second part of the question is, how would you apply the theories of attitude change in order to ameliorate the undesirable social prejudice? अब ये prejudice का क्वेश्चन पेपर 2 से आ रहा है. आप कहेंगे ये कैसे दे दिया एग्जामिनर, अब उसकी मर्जी दे दिया, ठीक है, तो उनको तो हम क्वेश्चन कर नहीं सकते, ठीक है. One advantage that psychology optional students get apart from ethics is that it enhances their score in essay paper. कैसे? How? First of all, it is a Western discipline. ठीक है? Whatever books you will read, most of them will be written by Western authors, and they have amazing English. तो आपका इंग्लिश अपने आप इंप्रूव हो जाएगा, होगा ही होगा. एक्सप्रेशन इंप्रूव हो जाएगा. एक्सप्रेशन समझते हैं क्या होता है? क्या होता है वो? You will learn the art of how to fill the ocean inside a pot. गागर में सागर भरने की कला को ही एक्सप्रेशन कहते हैं. जो बात कोई 10 सेंटेंस में कहे, एक साइकोलॉजी ऑप्शनल का बच्चा 2 सेंटेंस में कहेगा. वही बात, same meaning will be conveyed, but in minimum possible words. So it will give you an advantage in essay because your English will improve. And moreover, when we write essay, we generally toss the topic from different dimensions. So we express political views on the topic, we express economic views on the topic, we express social views on the topic. You will get one more additional dimension, that is psychological view on the topic. Are you getting it? Now, we will provide you with all the study material over these 24 topics, and these study material are not created by me. I have compiled them from the best of the textbook that I know. Okay. So in every textbook, you may not find all the chapters very interesting or well written. You may find that within a chapter, one paragraph is very well written. So I have picked that paragraph for you. मैंने अपना कुछ नहीं किया है, जहां जो मुझे अच्छा लगा एक्सप्रेशन वाइज मैंने उसको उठा करके पेस्ट कर दिया. So it will be like reading textbooks. You know, you will be reading around 100 textbooks in form of one text. जहां से जो अच्छा लगा, ठीक है. You will get the material, and material is not important. What is most important is presence in the class, asking questions, answering to the questions asked by me. Your involvement in the class will make all the difference. So matter will not matter. Matter मैं दूंगा, और मैं ये भी जानता हूं कि मैटर आपके शेल्फ में रखा रहेगा, आप उसको कभी पलट के नहीं देखेंगे. I promise you that. Why? Because after conclusion of every class, every lecture, you will have an home assignment, and that home assignment is same day you will have to spend 40 minutes, not more than 40 minutes, to write the synopsis of the class notes that you have taken. So your class notes might expand over 5-6 pages. You have to condense those 5-6 pages into one page, और ये every day करेंगे आप. Because during exam, you can read that one page. You can read that one page, which is condensed version, a night before the exam. You cannot read the bulky class notes or the text, printed text, ठीक है, तो जो पॉसिबल है वो आप करते चलेंगे और ये डेली का एक्सरसाइज होगा, ठीक है। ओके, वन मोर थिंग, we will have test series integrated with the progress of the course. So as and when we conclude 4-5 chapters, or say 2 units, we will keep a test. This test is called divided test. Divided test means topical test, thematic test. Okay? We will have 6 thematic tests over these 24 topics, and there will be 2 FLTs. FLT means full length test towards the end. One from paper 1, another from paper 2. And you will have my contact number. You can take it. Take it, 9810 777 875. So somebody who is socially very active can form a WhatsApp group for the class. Somebody please take charge. Take it. Huh? You will take this, sir? Okay. What's I forgot your name. हर्षित गिल, ठीक है, हर्षित will take charge. सब लोग अपना नंबर इनको दे देना, ठीक है. So you can communicate with me as many times as you want, except when I'm in the class, ठीक है. And you can ask any questions, ठीक है. So I am not out of reach. You can reach me easily, ठीक है. Okay. Any further question that you may have in your mind? Puchi? Why not? Come on, don't be so formal. Huh?
Like, should like students in a class look at the teacher? I think like when a student look at the teacher, like, he can focus like what he's saying. But sometimes like teacher doesn't things like students are staring.
No. I am not so handsome that you will stare me.
What I have experienced till now. So like some teachers, like in my colleges, like I used to like look at the teacher, like when I see him or her, or like I'm showing him or her, my focus becomes more strong.
Yes.
So
You will learn about this also. You will learn about this also in educational psychology. There is a topic called learning style. Every student is unique learner. They have different learning preferences and learning styles. So as I can gather from your conversation, you are a visual learner. You learn more by looking at things, by seeing things. Some people learn more by listening. They are called auditory learners. ठीक है. तो जैसे आप जब भी एग्जाम लिखे होंगे, एग्जाम में जब आपको याद करना होता था आंसर लिखते समय, तो आपको याद आता होगा वो पेज और उस पेज में अक्षर कैसे सेट किए होते हैं. You remember the answer by its sight, isn't it? So you are a visual learner. There are some learners who are kinesthetic learner. उनको एक जगह बैठा तो चुपचाप नहीं सीख पाएंगे. उनको मूवमेंट चाहिए. कभी हाथ हिलाएंगे, कभी ऐसे से करेंगे, कुछ से कुछ करेंगे ऐसे से. ठीक है, उनका हाथ पैर बांध दो, कुछ नहीं सीख पाएंगे. वो दैट इज सिंबल ऑफ एंजाइटी. और ये इंटरव्यू में बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए. नो टैपिंग योर फीट. हालांकि आपका फीट दिखेगा नहीं बोर्ड को, लेकिन आपका ये मूवमेंट होगा तो बॉडी भी तो हिलेगा. ठीक है, ठीक है. some are tactile learners. They learn more from projects. ठीक है, practicals, hand on experiences. Yeah. देखो, दोनों पेपर में ज्यादा हाई एम करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको जीएस भी मैनेज करना है, एसए भी मैनेज करना है. ये नहीं कि साइकोलॉजी में पूरा दम लगा दिया. जितना आप दम लगा सकते हैं आराम से, उससे 330 to 350 अचीवेबल है. नहीं, पर पेपर तो ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते. पर पेपर कैसे बोल सकते हैं? अच्छा, पेपर 1 और पेपर 2 का डिवीजन मांग रहे हैं। अच्छा, यू विल ऑलवेज स्कोर मोर इन पेपर 2 बिकॉज इट कंप्राइज ऑफ अप्लाइड टॉपिक्स। ठीक है, तो पेपर 1 में अगर आपको 170 आ रहा है, इट्स अ वेरी रेस्पेक्टेबल स्कोर, और 170 से ज्यादा ही आएगा आपका पेपर 2। ठीक है, एनी डे 150 भी ठीक है, पेपर 1 नॉट अ बैड स्कोर। ठीक है, the classes will be held over 100 plus minus 10 lectures. 100 plus minus 10 lectures. Now 100 plus minus 10 lectures means if you are having 6 days a week, in which case you will be getting 24 classes in a month. और 2-4 दिन में बीमार भी पड़ूंगा। On an average 20 classes per month. If we hold that, then it turns out to be 4.5 to 5 months. ठीक है, how many of you are planning to write prelims next year? अच्छा, नाउ आपके साथ एक प्रॉब्लम होगा, क्योंकि पीटी जैसे जैसे करीब आएगा, यू विल स्टार्ट पुशिंग द पैनिक बटन। सो यू हैव टू सेपरेट ऑप्शनल टोटली फ्रॉम प्रीलिम्स। प्रीलिम्स को बाहर छोड़ के आना है। कई बच्चे क्या करते हैं, प्रीलिम्स जैसे ही आने लगता है क्लास आना बंद कर देते हैं, साइकोलॉजी से रिश्ता ही तोड़ लेते हैं। ये गलती मत कीजिएगा, क्योंकि प्रीलिम्स के बाद ही असली गेम है ना। एन ऑप्शनल डेफिनेटली विल गिव यू अ प्ले फील्ड फॉर 500 मार्क्स, nevertheless it is most important, है ना। Any more questions? Please. Okay. How many days you are thinking that you will be around? As far as I know, that Drishti provides you with the recording, class recordings, and that recordings remains with you for 2 years. So I don't think that would be a problem. And as far as yes, you can take live classes also online. Okay, it's a hybrid course. So I wish you all the best for your grandfather. ठीक है, और कोई क्वेश्चन? शुरू करें? Okay. So let me start with introduction. The name of this topic is highly misleading. Highly misleading. It's a misnomer. The name of this topic should have been conclusion. Because introduction introduces you with all the schools and perspectives that have ever come in psychology. मतलब आप साइकोलॉजी का कंक्लूजन जान जाएंगे इंट्रोडक्शन से कि हम पढ़ने क्या वाले हैं। Are you getting it? You will learn about all the schools of psychology, all the different perspectives in psychology. How did they came into existence? What was the background? What are the existing schools and how they approach the subject? ले दे के इंट्रोडक्शन में आप पूरी साइकोलॉजी पढ़ने के बाद जो सीखेंगे वो पहला चैप्टर में सीखेंगे। ठीक है, and as I said, introduction is highly correlated with the topic of personality. How do we define personality?
It is something that we inherit through our society, like society.
Put it very simply in layman's word, personality is your behavioral signature. It is the sum total of your behaviors. And what is psychology? Study of behavior. So study of behavior and personality being sum total of all behavior, that means psychology is basically study of your personality. तो सबसे लंबा चैप्टर है साइकोलॉजी का पर्सनालिटी, और उसमें हम लोग 15-16 लेक्चर लेंगे। और ये जनरली कहीं पर भी अगर आप जाएंगे तो पर्सनालिटी लास्ट में पढ़ाया जाता है या टुवर्ड्स द मिडिल पढ़ाया जाता है. But since beginning, when I started teaching, I teach personality on the very onset of the classes. मैं आपको पहले ही थोड़ा बिटर मेडिसिन खिला दूंगा ताकि बाद में जितने भी मेडिसिन है आपको मीठे लगे. Are you getting it? And if you have concepts clear in personality, you can create any answer even if you have not prepared that chapter in the exam. आप अपने से क्रिएट कर लें क्योंकि आपको पता है कि अगर फ्रॉइड सोचेगा तो कैसे सोचेगा. अगर स्किनर को सोचना है इस विषय में तो वो क्या सोचेंगे क्योंकि आपको पर्सपेक्टिव मालूम. सो यू कैन बी एज गुड एज दैट रिसर्चर और एज दैट थ्योरिस्ट. ठीक है. नाउ बिफोर बिगिनिंग एनी टॉपिक वी विल फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आउटलाइन द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ दिस टॉपिक. स्ट्रक्चर का मतलब इस टॉपिक में क्या क्या थीम्स है और जो जो थीम्स हम लोग बोर्ड पे लिखेंगे यू कैन गो बैक एंड वेरीफाई फ्रॉम द पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन बैंक्स. बार बार उन्हीं स्ट्रक्चर से क्वेश्चन पूछा है, सिर्फ लैंग्वेज बदल दिया. They have repeatedly asked questions only from those structures. So if you can identify the structures in advance which are present in a topic, you will not come asking me to give you guess questions. भाई यही स्ट्रक्चर है, यही 4 टॉपिक है स्ट्रक्चर में, तो इसी 4 में से क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. And I am prepared for that. Right? So first, definition of psychology. You will be writing psychology like this. It is accepted internationally because it has got recognition from APA. APA means American Psychological Association, the highest body in the world for any kind of psychological research. तो APA ने ठप्पा मार दिया तो सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज ने इसको मान लिया. ठीक है. जैसे earlier, earlier psychologists delivered their services in interrogation of prisoners of war. तो मिलिट्री साइकोलॉजिस्ट को बुला करके प्रिजनर्स ऑफ वॉर का इंट्रोडक्शन, स्पाइस का इंटरोगेशन कराती थी. एपीए ने क्या किया, प्रेसिडेंट ओबामा को चिट्ठी लिखा कि इट इज अगेंस्ट द एथिक्स इन साइकोलॉजी to extract information from somebody who wants to conceal that information. Everybody has the right to self defense. तो उसके बाद से साइकोलॉजिस्ट अब इंटरोगेशन में नहीं रहता. हाँ, आपकी इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में रह सकता है, वहां इंटरोगेशन हो सकता है आपका. ठीक है. ओके. सो डेफिनेशन ऑफ साइकोलॉजी. नाउ द डेफिनेशन ऑफ साइकोलॉजी is very short, but it has a long past. So you can say psychology has a short history but very long past. So psychology's definition has evolved with time. As different thoughts came in psychology, the definition of psychology kept on changing until it arrived at the present status. So immediately following definition of psychology, the next structure is historical antecedents in psychology. Historical antecedents in psychology means what are those schools which led to changes and transformations in the definition until we came at the present definition. So the present definition is psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. ये एक दिन में नहीं आया डेफिनेशन, इसके पीछे बहुत कहानी है. तो वो कहानी जब भी डेफिनेशन पूछेगा वो कहानी भी पूछेगा आपसे. इन दोनों से आप एक क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ लुकिंग एट द डेफिनेशन and looking at the contribution of all those psychologists who have contributed to the evolution of the definition, okay, we would like to know what is the status of psychology as a science. Will it be correct to say that psychology is a science? And if it is a science, how far it is pure like physics and chemistry? To what extent it is pure like physics and chemistry? Or is it closer to philosophy, metaphysics, spirituality, or is it close to physics, chemistry, बायोलॉजी, ठीक है। सो स्टेटस ऑफ साइकोलॉजी एज अ साइंस, ये बार बार पूछता है ये क्वेश्चन, स्टेटस ऑफ साइकोलॉजी as a science. And when we examine the status of psychology as a science, we find that psychology has connection. It has got relationships with natural sciences in one hand. Natural sciences are physics, chemistry, biology, and social sciences on the other. So psychology is standing at the crossroads of natural and social sciences. Okay? So the next topic which comes is relation with other natural and social sciences. इन दोनों से एक क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट कीजिए। Now, if you are sharing information, if you are sharing knowledge, if you are exporting knowledge or you are importing knowledge, you are interacting with natural science and you are also interacting with social science, then basically you don't have any character. Psychology doesn't have any character. एक तो बीवी है नेचुरल साइंस, एक गर्लफ्रेंड है सोशल साइंस, इसका कोई कैरेक्टर है ही नहीं। Are you getting it? So it has definitely diluted the identity of the subject as a pure science. But then it has added to usability of the subject. So psychology borrows the questions, the questions from social science. Social science में सभी आ जाते हैं, ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमी, हिस्ट्री, सोशियोलॉजी, जो भी समाज में प्रॉब्लम है, those problems will be borrowed from social sciences, and using scientific methods like physics and chemistry, we will investigate in psychology. So subject matter comes from social sciences, the method of study comes from natural sciences, and that has made psychology develop interdisciplinary trend. Interdisciplinary trend. And this interdisciplinary trend has given rise, यहाँ लिखता हूं, has given rise to several fields and branches of psychology. So from this interdisciplinary trend and fields of psychology, you can expect one question. 3 क्वेश्चन हो गए। Like when psychology shares information with history, a hybrid branch of psychology develops which is called psychohistory. ठीक है? When we share information with political science, a hybrid branch of psychology or field of psychology develops which is called political psychology, जो अब आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है, पहले था। ठीक है? Political psychology, in which we study the political attitudes and political efficacy of people, on what reasons people vote. ठीक है? Why some people vote for caste. ठीक है? Why some people vote for their regional person. Are you getting my point? So what is the criteria? पहले था, अभी नहीं है। ठीक है? So when psychology shares information with military, we get military psychology. तो इसमें ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना है। पेपर 2 का टॉपिक्स सिलेबस याद कर लेना है। पेपर 2 का सिलेबस में जो जो अप्लाइड टॉपिक है वो सारे फील्ड्स वाले, ठीक है। एंड दे हैव अटैच्ड अ टेल दैट इज एप्लीकेशन ऑफ साइकोलॉजी in 21st century. Now this is one topic which I will not teach you right away in introduction, because when we discuss paper 2 you will know all the applications. Okay, so in total 4 questions are possible from introduction. और आप 20 साल का क्वेश्चन उठाकर देख लो, इन चारों के बाहर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछे। ठीक है, तो आपको गेस करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं। ये 4 चीज अगर आपको दुरुस्त है, पूछने दो जो भी पूछते हैं। ठीक है। Sometimes the examiner will play with words to confuse you, ठीक है। और अगर आप ध्यान से नहीं पढ़ेंगे क्वेश्चन तो आप जानते हुए भी गलत लिख के आ जाएंगे। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं एक एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूं आपको। लाइक इन लर्निंग चैप्टर you will learn a theory which is called S-type conditioning, or it is also known as SS conditioning. ठीक है। SS conditioning is called classical conditioning. Now in one of the years they asked a question, what do you understand by SS learning? And my own students, many of them wrote SS conditioning because they know that conditioning is also one form of learning. They wrote about Pavlov's theory. They were supposed to write Tollman's theory. तो इस तरह से आपको देखना चाहते हैं कि आप क्वेश्चन पकड़ पा रहे हैं कि नहीं, ठीक है। Sometimes they have asked questions, how would you explain the epigenetic perspective in psychology? अब ये दुनिया की किसी किताब में नहीं लिखा हुआ है, यहां पर आपको थोड़ा सा संधि विच्छेद करना होगा। दो तरह का शब्द होता है ऑपोजिट ऑफ ईच अदर, वन इज एंडो, अनदर इज एपी। एंडो मीन्स डीप इनसाइड, एपी मीन्स सतह पर, सरफेस। एपिजेनेटिक का मतलब द थ्योरीज विच बिलीव that there is nothing inside the mind, we learn everything through practice. That means they were asking the behavioral perspective in psychology. लेकिन behavioral perspective डायरेक्ट नहीं पूछा क्या? एपिजेनेटिक पर्सपेक्टिव। तो आपको थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, कभी कभी करते ही, ठीक है। One more thing, for the purpose of the exam, I don't want you to create very beautiful and flowery answers. एनसीईआरटी स्टैंडर्ड का लैंग्वेज होना चाहिए। बहुत फ्लावरी जिन स्टूडेंट्स का लैंग्वेज रहा है उनको बड़े गंदे नंबर मिले, क्योंकि एग्जामिनर शायद आपके जटिल भाषा को नहीं समझ पाए, ठीक है। तो एनसीईआरटी जैसे बच्चों को कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए जो किया जाता है ना, 11-12 क्लास के बच्चे जैसे होते हैं, वही लैंग्वेज का स्टैंडर्ड रखना है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं जाना है। एंड योर फोकस शुड बी अटेम्प्टिंग ऑल द क्वेश्चंस, नॉट एसेंशियली all your answers should be the best ones, ठीक है। all your answers should be least imperfect. Now if you think that I will write only 3 answers and that too beautifully, नहीं होगा। आप बात समझिए, नहीं होगा। जैसे मान लो 5 क्वेश्चन 10-10 नंबर के, आपने 3 क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छे किए, तो 10 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन में, in a 10 mark question, what is the marks examiner can give you maximum? 6 देगा, 6.5 नहीं देगा, 5.5 नहीं देगा। क्यों नहीं देगा? क्योंकि उसको जोड़ने में दिक्कत होगा, तो जब भी देगा होल नंबर में देगा। गेटिंग इट? क्योंकि उसको क्या मिल रहा है, उसको तो एक पैसा मिल रहा है पर कॉपी, वो तो आपको जानेगा भी नहीं क्या नर है या मादा, लड़का है या लड़की, हिंदू है कि मुसलमान, उसको तो कुछ नहीं पता होगा। आप तो उसके लिए एक रोल नंबर। एंड हु विल बी योर एग्जामिनर? समबडी हु इज इन द फैग एंड ऑफ लाइफ, जो कि बहुत परेशान है, दुखी है, लेकिन बैंक बैलेंस चाहिए उसको, इसलिए तुम्हारा पेपर देख रहा है, ठीक है। तो कम लिखना है, उसको ज्यादा परेशान नहीं करना है, ठीक है। देखो मैं सिंपल साइकोलॉजी बताता हूं। से आई एम 60 year old, although I am not, लेकिन I am the examiner somewhere. I get her copy and I am having a cup of tea. While I am having a cup of tea, I evaluate her entire paper. यानी कि 15 मिनट में मैंने इनका पूरा पेपर इवेल्युएट कर लिया और मेरे बैंक अकाउंट में 1000 रुपये यूपीएससी ने ट्रांसफर कर दिया। तो मैं बड़ा खुश हो गया, 15 मिनट में 1000 रुपये कमा लिए। एंड देन आई गेट हिज पेपर, जो गिवन स्पेस है आंसर शीट में उसमें इतना छोटा छोटा लिखा है, भर भर के लिखा है कि मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास लेकर के मुझे पढ़ना पड़ रहा है, एंड इट टुक मी 45 मिनट्स टू इवैल्यूएट हिज पेपर, एंड व्हाट इज द नेट रिजल्ट? 1000 रुपीज। अगर मैंने किसी क्वेश्चन में इन्हें 6 नंबर दिया है, देन इट इज माय मोरल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी टू इंश्योर दैट आई गिव हिम 3। ठीक है, सो राइट लेस एंड राइट सेंस, डोंट टैक्स द एग्जामिनर। उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है आप सिलेक्ट हो या रिजेक्ट हो, उसका अपना बेटा बेटी का तो हुआ नहीं है, अगर हुआ रहता तो उसको एग्जामिनर नहीं बनाता, तो वो खुद ही फ्रस्ट्रेट है, वो तो देख के गुस्सा होता होगा। ठीक है, नाउ so let me write the definition of psychology first of all. Psychology is defined as scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Psychology is defined as scientific study of behavior and mental processes. ठीक है, behavior are those which can be observed by others, which can be seen by others. They are known as overt behaviors. जो आप करते हुए दिखते हैं, जिनको कोई भी देख सकता है, they are overt behaviors, like walking, talking, something that can be sensed through our sensory organs, crying, anything, any overt behavior, shouting, killing, ठीक है, romance, ये सब overt behavior, eating, ठीक है, and there are some behaviors which you cannot do publicly. You do them in your thoughts and imagination. You might have the temptation of killing me someday, but you know you can't because you are confined by law. But you can kill me 100 times in your imaginations. Agree? Even they are behaviors, we call them overt behaviors. We call them overt behaviors. Now, when I'm talking about behaviors, am I talking about human behavior only? No. Human as well as animals. Because there are a lot of experiments in psychology which have been done over animals and the findings have been extended on humans. Because it is unethical to conduct all experiments over human beings. आप हर चीज के लिए ह्यूमन बींग्स पे एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं कर सकते, तो आपको कई बार एनिमल पे एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखना होता है टू अंडरस्टैंड द मेंटल प्रोसेसेस. ठीक है, so it was the behavioral school in psychology which ushered an era of experimentation in psychology, and you have to know the experiments. एक्सपेरिमेंट जिस क्वेश्चन में पूछा गया है उसमें पूछा जाएगा सब्सटेंशिएट योर आंसर विद सुटेबल स्टडी. सब्सटेंशिएट योर आंसर विद सुटेबल स्टडी का मतलब इसमें स्टडी हुआ, एक्सपेरिमेंट हुआ, उस एक्सपेरिमेंट लिखो. ठीक है, अगर आपको एक्सपेरिमेंट पता है लिख दीजिए, कहीं से कोई नंबर काटने का चांस नहीं. ठीक है, ये हो सकता है कि आपको एक्सपेरिमेंटर का नाम भूल गया. अगर नाम याद नहीं है कोई बात नहीं, लिखो अकॉर्डिंग टू एन एमिनेंट रिसर्च. ठीक है, और ये कभी मत करना कि एक्सपेरिमेंट किसी ने किया और आपने किसी और का नाम छाप दिया. स्पेशली पेपर 2 में तो मत करना जिसमें बहुत सारे इंडियन प्रोफेसर्स के नाम है. मान लो इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी के जेवीपी सिन्हा ने कोई स्टडी किया, केस स्टडी किया, और आप जेवीपी सिन्हा का नाम भूल गए, आपने लिख दिया एलबी त्रिपाठी. तो अगर जेवीपी सिन्हा एग्जामिनर होगा वो बोलेगा पूरा जीवन लगा के जो रिसर्च मैंने किया वो त्रिपाठी को चला गया, जान लेगा. तो अगर याद नहीं है लिखो मत. ठीक है, एक लर्निंग स्टाइल में एक लर्निंग स्टाइल का क्लासिफिकेशन दिया था ब्रैंडलर एंड ग्राइंडर ने. ब्रैंडलर एंड ग्राइंडर. अब एक बच्चे का कॉपी मेरे पास आता है, वो क्या लिखा है, ब्रैंडलर ग्राइंडर जूसर. मैं मिक्सर का छोड़ दिया, ठीक है। ये सब पट्टेबाजी नहीं करना है, याद नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, इट इज क्वाइट ऑब्वियस, यू कैन नॉट रिटेन एवरीथिंग, ठीक है। So this is the definition, but this definition did not came in one go. It evolved with time. So if I look at the timeline of psychology, since its inception, beginning, we can divide its history into ancient, medieval, classical, and modern phase. ठीक है, मोटा मोटा हम लोग पूरे टाइमलाइन को इस फेज में डाल सकते हैं। In ancient phase, psychology developed as an offshoot of philosophy. A philosophical idea led to emergence of psychology. And the oldest document which led to the idea of psychology during ancient time, can you guess? Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It is not a spiritual textbook. It is a writing, it is a text on psychology. Okay. Now, if you look at this word psychology, it is made up of two terms, psyche plus logos. Psyche means soul, chetna, your deeper insight, your conscience, आपका जमीर, ठीक है, अंतःकरण की आवाज, वॉइस ऑफ कॉन्शियंस, ठीक है, what you believe truly is right and what you believe truly is wrong, that comes from your soul, ठीक है। So if your soul believes in non-violence, you will condemn violence in every form. Condemn मतलब नफरत करेंगे, boycott करेंगे. You will condone violence, condemn violence in every form. Like Gandhiji. Gandhiji would not have appreciated the Israeli defense forces for attacks on Hamas. ठीक है? But Israelis have a different soul. They know that if they want to survive in a nation surrounded by Arabians, then the only way is attack. जान बचाना है तो अटैक करो, ठीक है। सो साइकोलॉजी इज स्टडी ऑफ सोल। लोगोस का मतलब होता है डिस्कोर्स, डिस्कोर्स का मतलब स्टडी, ठीक है। श्रीमद् भागवत गीता explained human existence in terms of body, mind, and what? Soul. So we are made up of three entities. मैं आप सभी लोग, body, mind, and soul. ठीक है। Now this is an उपदेश which Lord Krishna is giving to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is documented in Gita. श्री कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को जो भी ज्ञान दिया, उस ज्ञान को एक पुस्तक में लाया गया जिसको कहते हैं भागवत गीता, ठीक है। सो जीवन जीने का तरीका बताया। तो लॉर्ड कृष्णा टेल्स अर्जुन दैट हे पार्थ, वी आर मेड अप ऑफ three entities, body, mind, and soul, and each of these three entities perform different functions. They perform different functions. Now, what is the function of your body? No. Why do you perform physical work? चलो मैं क्वेश्चन घुमा देता हूं। What do you lose when you die? नहीं, आइडेंटिटी तो बनी रहती है। महात्मा गांधी को आज भी हम लोग आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं। हाँ, नो। What is the difference between a dead body and a live body? What abilities are lost when you die? Which abilities? Huh? You lose the ability to sense anything. So when you are alive, you can sense things around. You can hear the sound. You can see the light. Okay? You can smell the odor. You can feel the touch. You can feel the heat. But as soon as you die, you can't even move a fly sitting over your nose because you are unaware of that. You lose the ability to sense anything. And therefore, when you die, you become nonsense. सुबह तक तो सेंस में थे, पता नहीं कैसे नॉनसेंस हो गए। ठीक है, so function of body is to create your awareness. Our body is made up of 5 indriyas, 5 sense organs. These 5 sense organs are also known as sense modalities. ठीक है, vision, that is sight, hearing, smelling, tasting and feeling the touch. ठीक है, ये 5 इंद्रियों से आपका शरीर है। जैसे आपका शरीर नष्ट होगा, ये 5 इंद्रियां नष्ट हो जाएगी। So body's work or body's task is to capture informations from your surrounding and keep you aware of them. So right now your body is saying that the temperature is getting low, I should be in warmer, I should be in sweater, and that's the reason you are in sweater. Your body is informing you right now, one person who has some more knowledge in psychology should be speaking and we should focus on listening. That's the reason that you are not stopping me while I talk and you listen to me. आपको अगर मेरी बात सुनाई नहीं देती तो आप लिसन तो नहीं करते। और जो मैं बोल रहा हूं आप समझ भी रहे हैं, बिकॉज आई एम क्रिएटिंग अवेयरनेस अबाउट साइकोलॉजी थ्रू योर ईयर्स एंड योर आइज, है कि नहीं? So task of the body is to capture sensations or energies which are around us. So what do you capture when you look at me or when you look at this board? What do you capture in your retinas? Yes, you capture light energy, certain electromagnetic radiations having some wavelength. So what, the light falling over my body is reflected from my body and it goes to your retina. And what your retinas are receiving, they're receiving radiations, light waves of different wavelengths. These light waves do not carry any meaning. When you are listening to me, your ears are receiving certain sound energies which do not bear any meaning. They are raw sensations. So what happens once this information reaches your retina? This energy is sent to the brain by fine neurons which are connected in the back of your eyes. And it is the brain which will process the information in order to make it meaningful, in order to interpret it, in order to understand it. तो होगा क्या, ये एनर्जी जब ब्रेन में जाएगा, it will create a visual image. Now your brain has a section called memory. This visual image will be correlated, compared with several images already lying in your memory. And it will have best match with the memory of Soubhik Sen's image. And then you will interpret me correctly that, okay, he is Soubhik Sen. Okay? So what is the job of mind? To process information meaningfully. Okay? Which is known as perception. So job of body is sensation. And when when you draw some sense out of these sensation, or when you meaningfully interpret them, इट इज नोन एज परसेप्शन। तो माइंड का काम है परसेप्शन करना, यानी कि अंडरस्टैंड करना, क्या देखा क्या सुना। ठीक है, गर्म तवे पर हाथ लगा तो गर्म है, ये माइंड बताता है, ये ठंडा नहीं है गर्म है, ये हार्ड है वो सॉफ्ट है, ये माइंड बताता है। ठीक है, सो बॉडी सेंसेस, माइंड मेक सेंस आउट ऑफ दोस सेंसेशंस, माइंड परसीव्स दोस इंफॉर्मेशंस। ठीक है, करेक्ट। नाउ डज योर माइंड टेल यू द ट्रूथ or is it misleading? And if I say that mind is always misleading, you don't see things the way they are actually, you see things the way you want them to see. ठीक है, just when you step out of this class and you go to the street, you find two teenage boys fighting fiercely. What will be your impression about that behavior? दो टीनेज लड़के लड़ रहे हैं आपस में, आपका माइंड आपको क्या बोलेगा? How will you interpret this information? You will say that look at these two boys fighting like dogs in the street, so aggressive boys. You may not even know that they are great friends and it's a play fight. It's a play fight. वो लड़ नहीं रहे हैं, वो मजाक कर रहे हैं। Are you getting my point? I have a friend whose wife insists him every morning that since morning you have not scolded and shouted at me even once, and I'm not liking it. भाई उसको लगता है कुछ गड़बड़ है। अगर पति पत्नी में झगड़ा नहीं हो रहा तो रिश्ता सही नहीं है। ठीक है, एक बार तो होना चाहिए। ठीक है, हमारा माइंड हमेशा में मिसलीड करता है। व्हाई? बिकॉज द परसेप्शन ऑफ माइंड डिपेंड्स अपॉन टू फैक्टर्स। वेरी गुड। पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस and future expectation. Past experience. If I ask you, how is the weather in Delhi these days? Hot, warm, cool or cold? Cool. Up, cold. Up, कूल। ये कोल्ड कह रहे हैं, ये तीनों कूल कह रहे हैं। टेम्परेचर तो दो, ये सभी एक ही सेंस कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इंटरप्रिटेशन देखो बदल गया। एंड इफ आई आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन टू अ पर्सन हु इज कमिंग डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम लद्दाख माउंटेन्स, ही वुड से इट इज वार्म। उसका पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस है भाई। ठीक है, सेम टेम्परेचर, लोग अलग अलग परिभाषा पे देखेंगे। If I take you to Mount Abu, which is one of the highest point of Aravalli, one of the highest point after Guru Shikhar, of course, and you have lived all your life in the plains, you would say it's huge. But if you come from Himachal, you would say पर्वत है तो हलवा है। उसका पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस है भाई, उससे बड़ी पहाड़ियां देखी। एंड फ्यूचर एक्सपेक्टेशन। During the war time, a Navy soldier who is posted in submarine and who has got the orders that you have to monitor the radar and detect if you see any torpedo attack. ठीक है, during war time, he might raise false alarm repeatedly that he noticed some signal in the radar, whereas there was none actually. Why did he observe those signals? जो कि कभी आए ही नहीं। Because he is expecting an attack. It is war time, and during peace time, the same soldier may miss out a very prominent signal because that was not expected. Many times, while I am waiting for a friend to arrive, I hear the doorbell ringing. मुझे लगता है बेल बजा, मैं दौड़ के जाके खोल के देखता हूँ कोई है ही नहीं, वो बेल नहीं बजा, मेरा कान बजा। तो माइंड और बॉडी आपको मिसलीड करते। ठीक है, इट नेवर गिव्स यू the glimpse of the truth. It never gives you the right reasons to do things. Right reasons to do things come from soul. Now, soul is something that is totally, see, body and mind influence each other. Mind तय करता है कि body क्या sense करेगा, है ना? And mind works on the principle of past experience, future expectation, and they're misleading. But your soul is completely detached from control of body and mind. So now Krishna tells Arjun what is soul. He says, आत्मा अमर है, उसका ना जन्म होता है ना अंत होता है. It is never born, neither it dies. It does not feel any emotions. So your soul can neither be happy, nor can it be sad, nor can it be angry. Your soul cannot take pride, nor can it be indignified. ना तो सोल को अहंकार होगा, गर्व होगा, ना ही हीनता की भावना होगी. सोल को कोई इंसल्ट नहीं कर सकता, सोल को कोई हवा भर के इन्फ्लेट नहीं कर सकता. उसको ना खुशी होगा ना दुख होगा. It will never feel pain. It will never feel sorrow. It will never feel hungry. It will never feel happy. It will be in a state of tranquilized. ठीक है, वो बिल्कुल ट्रैंक्विल होगा सोल. तो आत्मा को ना तो दुख होगा, ना कष्ट होगा, ना दर्द होगा, ना वो मरेगा, ना कभी जन्म लेगा, ना उसको भूख लगेगी, ना प्यास लगेगी. Are you getting it? यानी कि your neutral half is your soul. So if you lead a soulful life, as many great people do, then nobody can insult you. Nobody can glorify you. Nothing can make you happy, neither anything can make you sad. आप बिल्कुल बैलेंस्ड, परमात्मा की तरह बैलेंस्ड है. भगवान को खुश कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते हो. कितना भी चढ़ा हुआ चढ़ाओ. उनको दुखी कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते. Are you getting it? तो वो एकदम सोलफुल है. सोल को किसी चीज का डर भी नहीं है. सोल नेवर फियर्स एनीथिंग. माइंड बॉडी डू. सोल को कुछ नहीं होता. So Lord Krishna says, if you want to know the right reasons for doing anything, then search your soul. हम लोग कहते हैं ना अंग्रेजी में soul searching करते हैं थोड़ा. Look at your inner half. It will give you the right reasons for doing things. If you ask, तो मैं अभी जैसे आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा जो कि कभी ना कभी इस एग्जाम में आपसे पूछा जाएगा. आइदर डायरेक्टली इंटरव्यू रूम में पूछ लेगा या फिर एथिक्स के पेपर में पूछ लेगा. ठीक है, पूछूं. Why civil service as a career choice? Give me the reason. इंटरव्यू बोर्ड, समझ लो मैं इंटरव्यूअर, आप पहुंच गए इंटरव्यू स्टेज पे, मैंने सीधा पूछा वाई सिविल सर्विस. इतने सारे कैरियर्स हैं वर्ल्ड में, इंडिया में, सब जगह. सिविल सर्वेंट ही क्यों बनना है? मैं पूछूं तो क्या जवाब होगा? नहीं. तो एक्चुअली यू हैव नॉट आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन एवर. आपने ये सवाल अपने आप से पूछा ही नहीं है. अभी देखो मैं आपको एक कमाल का चीज दिखा. You ask this question, why do I want to be civil servant, to your body? What will be the probable answer your body will come up with? Your body will say, once I become IAS officer, I will have luxurious office. I will have a huge bungalow to live. I will have several cars at my disposal. I will have so many orderlies serving me. I will live in an AC room. I don't have to wander in the sun. With all these luxuries and comforts of life, my body will be happy. So I want to be a civil servant so that I can enjoy the comforts and luxuries of life. Now, if you give this answer to the interview board, what do you expect from them? Should they select you for this answer? No. But if you ask your body comes up with this answer. Misleading. मैंने क्या कहा? So let's transfer the question to mind. Why do I want to be a civil servant? The answer that comes is, once I am a civil servant, I will command huge powers in my hand. Everybody will be under my hand and seal. Everybody will second my opinion. Nobody will argue against me. All heads will be bowed down in front of my authority. With this huge power, status, man acha rahega. My mind will be happy. How do I sound? I sound like power-hungry person. Should they select me for this reason? No. Now let me pass this question to soul. And my soul replies, if I am sitting in the interview room, it means that I have beaten 14 lakh aspirants behind to reach this stage. It means that God has blessed me with some special abilities which are very rare. And these abilities must be used in the best interest of the society for the last man who needs. Now, this is a soulful answer. So, soul always tells you what's the right reason for doing things. Here. So, tell me, what will happen to me if I kill somebody? मैं अगर किसी को जान से मार दूं तो मेरे साथ क्या होगा? नहीं, एक्शन क्या होगा मेरे ऊपर? Behind the bar. I just now shot somebody from point blank range who was shooting at public who were innocent in the marketplace of Karol Bagh with his AK-47 rifle. I shot him from point blank range. So what will happen to me? Behind the bar? Or Mahavira Chakra? So what happens to me if I kill someone depends upon the reason. In law, we call it mens rea, motive. मर्डर करना जुर्म नहीं है. अगर ऐसा होता तो हर फौजी को फांसी होनी चाहिए. अब बात समझो. It depends upon the reason. So there are 3 teachers teaching in a primary school and they all teach history. One day they were asked, what do you do? The first teacher replies, I teach history to kids. The second teacher replies, well, I am into the business of education. Bit more sophisticated answer. And when the question is asked to the third teacher, he says, I train young minds how to create history. All 3 are doing the same thing. But who is doing the thing with right reason? Which teacher? Third one. Okay. So there came a point in the battlefield of Kurukshetra when Arjuna put down his Gandiv on the floor. अर्जुन ने अपना गांडीव, उनका जो धनुष का नाम था गांडीव, उन्होंने नीचे रख दिया. And he said, I find it totally unreasonable to kill my brothers just for 5 villages. 5 गांवों के लिए मैं अपने भाइयों की हत्या करना गलत समझता हूं, unreasonable समझता हूं. Krishna said, you are wrong. Ask your soul, why are you fighting this battle? After a lot of thinking, he said, okay, if not 5 villages, then to avenge my wife's insult, द्रौपदी का अपमान का बदला लेने के लिए लड़ रहा हूं. Krishna started laughing. He said, yet you are not searching your soul. You are not fighting for 5 villages or avenging Draupadi. You are fighting to uphold the dignity of women of Bharatvarsha. If Duryodhan is spared for what he did with Draupadi, who is princess of Hastinapur, then no woman in India will ever feel safe and men will take dignity of women for granted. So if Draupadi's insult is not punished, it is spared, then every man in Bharatvarsha will start taking women for granted. So you are fighting to uphold the dignity of women in Bharatvarsha. Krishna gave him the right reason to fight. Gandiv उठा लिया उसने. समझ रहे हैं? So this school, this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we call it prescriptive school. prescriptive school in psychology. Prescriptive का मतलब a school that tells you what you should do, what is the ideal form of living life. It gives you prescriptions of life. Whereas Western school in psychology are diagnostic in nature. They don't tell you what you should do. Rather, they explain you why you did whatever you have done. Western school diagnostic है. Indian school क्या है? Prescriptive. तुमने क्या किया उससे मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं. तुम्हें क्या करना चाहिए था? धर्म क्या है? You should always follow the path of justice. What is just and what is unjust. ठीक है? So this entire philosophy of Gita gave birth to the idea of psychology, although the term psychology was yet not coined. ये शब्द psychology अभी भी existence में नहीं आया. ठीक है? Then comes the medieval period. Medieval period saw the contribution of Arabs. The contribution of Arabs. Arab world introduced the world with the concept of nafs. Nafs was the first classification of mental disorders. They identified the different varieties of mental disorder, and mental disorders were collectively known as naf in Arabic. Okay. Before this medieval period, any kind of mental distress was treated with single name, पागल है. किसी को मेंटल डिस्ट्रेस है, पागल है. एक ही वर्ड है, पागल है. अरे पागल कई तरह के होते हैं. कितने तरह के होते हैं? अरब्स ने बताया. ठीक है. Although it's an obsolete classification now, today the classification that we follow comes from Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which is called DSM, which is frequently revised. ठीक है. So Arabs identified the mental disorders. ठीक है. And said that there are varieties of mental disorder and there are varieties of ways in which they can be treated. तो पहले क्या होता था कि अगर कोई बच्चा एबनॉर्मल पैदा हुआ तो उसको जंगल में छोड़ देते थे हाइना को खाने के लिए. आर यू गेटिंग इट? कोई मेंटली रिटार्डेड पैदा हुआ, जैसे माता पिता ने नोटिस किया, उसको जंगल में छोड़ देते थे. लेकिन अरब्स ने कहा हर मेंटली रिटार्डेड बच्चा डोसाइल नहीं हो सकता है, ट्रेनेबल नहीं हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है. There are different categories of mental retardation. Most of the children who are mentally retarded are mildly retarded, and mildly retarded children are educable, they are trainable. ठीक है? Then comes the classical period. Classical period. In classical period, we see the contribution of John Locke. We see the contribution of John Locke. John Locke revisited the mind-body debate which was initiated by Plato and Aristotle. Plato and Aristotle are from ancient time. Plato and Aristotle agreed with Srimad Bhagavad Gita's concept that human beings have mind and body, but they denied the presence of soul because they said soul cannot be studied scientifically, it is very subjective. And they also agreed that mind and body influence each other, but to what extent they influence each other, they could not quantify that, they could not measure it. एंड दिस डिबेट गॉट इनिशिएटेड. माइंड बॉडी एक दूसरे को इन्फ्लुएंस करता है तो किस हद तक करता है? If they have some relationship, what is the strength of that relationship? Can we measure it? Can we quantify it? The question which was left unanswered by scholars like Plato and Aristotle was revisited during classical period by John Locke. Now what Mr. Locke has to say? He said, we are born tabula rasa. Tabula rasa का मतलब होता है सपाट टेबल, कोरा कागज, a board over which nothing has been written yet. Tabula rasa. So head is empty at birth. So when you take birth, are you aware that you are a human being and not any other animal? Are you aware that you are Hindu or Muslim? Are you aware you have a status, a nationality? You have a gender? नया जन्मा बच्चा यहां तक नहीं जानता है कि उसके पास एक शरीर है. He doesn't know. So after birth, they throw their arms and feet. And when they throw their arms and feet, it gives them muscular sensations that creates the awareness that, okay, I have a body, therefore I am somebody. वो तो एक साल के बाद उसे पता चलता है this somebody is पप्पू. जब सब लोग उसे पप्पू पप्पू बुलाते हैं तब उसे पता चलता है मेरा एक नाम भी है. जन्म के समय आपका हेड एकदम एम्प्टी है. You don't know anything about yourself, neither about this world into which you have come. ठीक है? So head is empty at birth, but gradually the body captures sensations from the environment. The body captures sensation from the environment. So suppose you are a newborn baby. There is a rattler hanging over you and you are enjoying the sight of that rattler. You frequently touch the rattler. You also touch the soft pillow. And your body captures this sensation. The pillow is soft. Rattler is hard. तो पहला अवेयरनेस क्या बना आपका? बॉडी ने क्या कैप्चर किया? कुछ सॉफ्ट होती हैं, मुलायम, कुछ हार्ड होती हैं. लेकिन ये सॉफ्ट पिलो है अभी तक नहीं पता, ये हार्ड रैटलर है अभी तक नहीं पता, लेकिन ऐसा फीलिंग हुआ. So this created an experience of softness, hardness, and this experience was created by mind. So body will capture sensation from the environment and pass the information to the mind, and the mind will gain these experiences and create memories of experiences. So gradually, your body and mind will start writing on the tabula rasa. Gradually, your body and mind will begin to write over this tabula rasa. समझ गए? And as it happens, this is the way body and mind are related to each other. तो बॉडी आपको अवेयरनेस देगा, चीजें दिखाएगा, चीजें फील कराएगा, और माइंड उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन देगा. तो दिस इज द कनेक्शन बिटवीन बॉडी एंड माइंड, जॉन लॉक. Then comes another person, another philosopher in the classical period itself, whose name was, see, लिखते ऐसे लेकिन इनको प्रोनाउंस करेंगे डकार्ट. डकार्ट, ठीक है? लिखेंगे डेस्क्रेट, पढ़ेंगे डकार्ट. Descartes said that human beings are bilateral organisms. Human beings are bilateral organisms. What does it mean? Your left half, the left half of your body and the right half of your body are mirror images of each other. आपको अगर बीचों बीच बराबर काट दिया जाए तो दो टुकड़े जो निकलेंगे उसमें हर चीज का पेयर होगा. लेफ्ट हार्ट, राइट हार्ट, left eye, right eye, left nostril, right nostril, left kidney, right kidney. So we are bilateral organism. Every organ in human body exists in pair. Left brain, right brain. Okay? But there is one organ which is single in number. And that organ is known as pineal gland. उसका कोई पेयर नहीं है. Pineal gland का मतलब आपकी तीसरी आंख जो यहां होता है. When you meditate, you focus on pineal gland. People who have aroused their pineal gland, they can see things which are yet to occur. ठीक है? And they can also see people who are remote in distance and time. Are you getting it? जिसको कहते हैं कुंडलिनी जागृत हो जाना. ठीक है? पैरानॉर्मल साइकोलॉजी भी है आपके सब सिलेबस में, पढ़ेंगे हम लोग इस सब के बारे में. ठीक है? टेलीपैथी क्या होता है, प्रेमोनिशन क्या होता है टेलीपैथी आप लोगों को? ऐसा होता है कि आप बहुत कष्ट के किसी को याद कर रहे हो, उसका फोन आ गया, तो उसका फोन आने वाला था इसलिए आप याद कर रहे थे, या आप याद कर रहे थे इसलिए फोन आ गया, या जस्ट मैटर ऑफ कोइंसिडेंस? Scientific community in psychology would say it's just a matter of coincidence, and a very scientific coincidence. Why should you remember somebody unless that somebody has suddenly become important for you? And people who have suddenly become important for you, they're likely to call. मैं ऐसे ही बाई फ्लूक किसी को याद तो नहीं करूंगा. मान लो मैं याद कर रहा हूं उस दोस्त को जिसने मुझसे पैसे उधार लिए थे और उसका फोन आ गया, तो भाई उसने मुझे ही फोन क्यों किया? क्योंकि उसे वापस देने हैं. ये तो बहुत अंडरस्टैंडेबल है कि उसको देना है इसलिए फोन किया. मैं कहूंगा टेलीपैथी. Are you getting my point? It is a scientific coincidence. It is not a cosmic coincidence. ठीक है? So pineal gland सिर्फ एक है, which means that body and mind interact with each other along pineal glands because they cannot share separate pineal glands. So body and mind do interact with each other along the pineal gland. ये था डकार्ट का फाउंडेशन एक्सप्लेनेशन. अगर pineal gland भी दो होते तो body and mind would have totally separate entities, no interaction with each other. But the mind and body interact with each other along the pineal glands. ठीक? In the same classical period comes Wilhelm Wundt from Leipzig University, Germany, who created the first lab of psychology in the year 1879. ठीक है? So the term psychology came into a formal existence with the contribution of Wilhelm Wundt. He laid the foundation of first school in psychology, which is popularly known as structuralism. He laid the foundation of first school of psychology known as structuralism. I'll explain you what is structuralism. ठीक है? Along with one of his student, Wilhelm Wundt, along with one of his student, Edward Tichenor. In fact, his full name was Edward Bradford Tichenor, but Tichenor भी लिख दोगे ठीक है. Along with one of his student, Tichenor, he established and popularized the school of structuralism in Leipzig University. ठीक है. He created a lab which was completely dedicated to psychological researches. ठीक है. Wilhelm Wundt said, psychology should be scientific study of consciousness. Our all behaviors and actions are determined by what we are aware of. What we are aware of. Suppose you get a chance to work abroad. Which destination would you prefer? बताइए. हाँ, पेरिस. अच्छा, आप बताइए. रशिया. ऐसा एक, जैसे उन्होंने पेरिस कहा, आप रशिया में कौन सी जगह वर्क करना चाहिए? मॉस्को. आप बताइए. आप बताइए. यूएसए पूरा तो कंट्री हो गया. लॉस एंजलिस, लास वेगास नहीं. आप बताइए. ऑस्ट्रिया. अच्छा, और कोई? मेक्सिको. अच्छा. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू विल प्रेफर टू वर्क इन अ प्लेस विच विल पे यू हाईएस्ट मनी? इसीलिए तो लोग बाहर जाते हैं काम करने, है ना. Now, none of you said California. California will pay you highest money out of all the places you described. But you did not thought of going to California because it did not existed in your consciousness. This piece of information was not present in your awareness. So, where to migrate will depend upon how many choices are you aware of. तो आप क्या करते हैं क्या नहीं करते हैं, ये तो डिपेंड करता है ना कि आपके अवेयरनेस में क्या है. सही बोल रहा हूं? बड़ा पाव खाया कभी दिल्ली में? हाँ, खाया. बताओ कौन सा दुकान तुमको पसंद है बड़ा पाव? क्या नाम है? लेकिन जब भी खाया वहीं जाके खाया ना. ओके. आप नहीं खाया? आप और किसी ने नहीं खाया? देखो, वड़ा पाव हल्दीराम में भी मिलता है, वड़ा पाव बीकानेर वाला में भी मिलता है, लेकिन ये ओल्ड बड़ा बाजार रोड में कुल्लड़ के यहाँ जाके खाते हैं, है ना. कुल्लड़ नाम है उसका. कुल्लड़ स्पेशल चाय बड़ा पाव. क्यों? क्योंकि इनके अवेयरनेस में वही दुकान है. ठीक है. तो कहां जाके खाना है बड़ा पाव डिपेंड्स अपॉन अवेयरनेस में क्या है. सो दे सेड psychology should be scientific study of consciousness. If we can study the consciousness, we can know the human behaviors in advance. ठीक है. And the approach to study the consciousness, तभी देखो डेफिनेशन जो इन्होंने दिया, साइंटिफिक स्टडी ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. श्रीमद् भागवत गीता said psychology should be scientific study of soul. ठीक है. क्लासिकल पीरियड ने कहा साइकोलॉजी शुड बी साइंटिफिक स्टडी ऑफ बॉडी माइंड रिलेशन. देखो कैसे कैसे बदल रहे. अभी वुंड साहब कहते हैं, Wundt and Tichenor together are saying it should be scientific study of consciousness. And they said consciousness can be studied in terms of its structure, in terms of its morphology. Can you identify the structure of this classroom? बताइए. It's a solid classroom. हाँ, क्या क्या दिख रहा है इसमें? There are two vertical walls. Sorry, there are four vertical walls. There are two horizontal. One at above your head, that is the ceiling, another below your feet, that is the floor. So in total, There are 4 vertical walls and 2 horizontal floors and ceiling. This is the structure of this room. So they said we can study the content of consciousness at any given point of time. कि consciousness किन चीजों से बना हुआ है, ये हम लोग उसके स्ट्रक्चर के टर्म्स पे स्टडी कर सकते हैं. So they adopted a molecular approach in other words brick and mortar approach इसका मतलब होता है to study the parts of consciousness. To study the parts of consciousness. Consciousness is made up of what all parts? So you are not studying consciousness as a whole entity. You are studying consciousness in parts. What's your name? हाँ? अच्छा, ठीक है. तो सी, अगर इनको अपना स्ट्रक्चर बताना होता, if I ask you, what all organs do you have in your body? Then you would not have told your name. You would have said, I have 2 kidneys, 1 heart. है कि नहीं? आप ऐसे बताते अपने parts. तो consciousness may not be studied as a whole entity. It may be studied with a molecular approach in parts. And they identified that consciousness is made up of 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. First is direct sensation. Direct sensation are all those stimulus energies that your sense organ capture from the environment. Like my sight is direct sensation. If I touch you, you will feel the touch, that is direct sensation. When I talk with you, you hear my voice, my speech, that is a direct sensation. If you hit somebody, that's a direct sensation. Are you getting it? So consciousness captures all energies, the stimulus energies which surround us in the environment, and that forms one part of consciousness. Right now you are listening to me, you are hearing me, and you are also feeling the temperature of this room. Okay? So they are forming part of your direct sensation. Okay? Second thing is image. Second part of consciousness is image. Image is derived from the word imagination. Maybe while I talk with you, you are mentally wandering in company garden with your girlfriend and boyfriend. हो सकता है? Physically you are here, but mentally you are in company garden. That is image. So another part of your consciousness are imaginations, images. है ना? You cannot directly touch a Bollywood heroine like नाम बताओ किसी का, दीपिका पादुकोण, but you can touch her in your imagination. वो क्षमता तो है आप में. So that is another part of your consciousness. The third part of your consciousness is emotion, which is also known as affection. So when you receive direct sensation, like when you look at me, when you listen to me, there are 2 possibilities. Either you feel pleasant emotion if you like this lecture, or you feel unpleasant emotion if you dislike me. ये होगा ना? तो डायरेक्ट सेंसेशन जब भी होगा कुछ इमोशन भी प्रोड्यूस होगा, आइदर प्लेजेंट और अनप्लेजेंट. ठीक है? इफ यू टच a cool surface, it will create pleasant emotion. But wrongly, if you touch the tawa, garam tawa, it will create unpleasant emotions. है कि नहीं? Similarly, depending upon your imagination, you will feel emotions. है ना? If you are imagining something very erotic, then your emotions will also be highly erogenous. If you are imagining something very violent, then your imaginations will be very aggressive. ठीक है? Your emotions will be very aggressive, anger. ठीक है? तो ये तीन चीज हमारे कॉन्शियसनेस को बनाते हैं. And to study these things, he used human subjects. So human subjects were presented with variety of stimulations, and they were asked to introspect inside their consciousness and report back three things: what they saw or heard, ठीक है, what they imagined upon hearing and seeing those things, and what emotions were produced when they heard and saw something. वो खुद रिपोर्ट करेंगे. This method of research in the lab came to be known as SRI, which stands for Self-Report Inventory. सेल्फ का मतलब आपके कॉन्शियसनेस में क्या चल रहा है आप ही बताओगे. ठीक है, मैं आपको कुछ सुनाऊंगा, कुछ दिखाऊंगा, उसको देखते और सुनते ही आपने क्या समझा, डायरेक्ट सेंसेशन क्या हुआ, आपको कौन कौन से इमेजेस दिमाग में आए, कुछ मिलते जुलते इमेजेस दिमाग में आए, कौन से इमोशंस प्रोड्यूस हुए. मैं आपको घंटों भूखा रख दूंगा लैब में और फिर पूछूंगा बताओ तुम क्या इमेजिन कर रहे हो. जाहिर है दीपिका पादुकोण तो इमेजिन नहीं करोगे, समोसा इमेजिन करोगे, इडली डोसा इमेजिन करोगे, है कि नहीं. तो इन लोगों ने ये रिसर्च निकाला. सेल्फ का मतलब आप खुद अपने कॉन्शियसनेस में देखिए, रिपोर्ट कीजिए, आंसर इट. एंड इन्वेंटरी मीन्स आई एम इन्वेंटिंग, डिस्कवरिंग समथिंग फ्रॉम योर कॉन्शियसनेस. सो देयर विल बी अ क्वेश्चनर एंड यू हैव टू आंसर अगेंस्ट द क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, आप अपने अंदर झांक के बताइए कि आपके मन में क्या चल रहा है, कॉन्शियसनेस में क्या क्या है, डायरेक्ट सेंसेशन कौन से हैं, इमेजेस कौन से हैं और इमोशंस कौन से हैं. ठीक है. सो सेल्फ रिपोर्ट इन्वेंटरी रिक्वायर्ड subjective introspection. Subjective introspection का मतलब अपने माइंड में, अपने कॉन्शियसनेस में झांक के देखो और बताओ. And this kind of research created huge amount of data which was of no utility for human welfare. Every science attempts to bring comfort and easiness in human survival. साइंस का मकसद ही होता है कि ह्यूमन बीइंग की जिंदगी को और आसान और वेलबींग भरा बना दे, है ना. आप सिर्फ डेटा जनरेट कर रहे हैं, उस डेटा का यूज कुछ नहीं है. So the school of structuralism was also criticized as hard data school as well as reductionist in approach. Consciousness should be seen as whole. It should not be reduced into three parts. Our experiences are holistic. ठीक है, they don't come in isolation. ऐसा नहीं होता कि सेंसेशन अलग चल रहे हैं, इमोशंस अलग चल रहे हैं, इमेजेस अलग आ रहे हैं, वो सब एक साथ आते हैं. ठीक है, और आप उसको रिड्यूस करके पढ़ रहे हैं, पार्ट्स को पढ़ रहे हैं. So these are the two objections. However, Wilhelm Wundt invited people from physics to investigate the mind-body relationship. And those physicists who turned psychologists developed a new field of psychology known as psychophysics. ठीक है. So entire chapter of attention, sensation, perception involves psychophysics, in which we apply principles of physics to study the psychological behaviors. ठीक है? तो psychophysicists gave an answer to the question raised by Plato and Aristotle, how to measure the relationship or the strength of the relationship between body and mind. ठीक है? They developed psychophysical scales, which you will learn in sensation perception chapter. लेकिन मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बता देता हूं. To understand the mind-body relationship. ठीक है? Now, when I talk about they developed psychophysical scales, who developed? Weber. In fact, Gustav Weber. Fechner. These were the major proponents who developed psychophysical scales. क्या होता है psychophysical scale मैं आपको बताता हूं. If I give you 10 kilogram weight in your right hand and another 10 kilogram in your left hand, and I ask you which one is heavier, what will be your answer? Same, equal. Now I increase your right hand weight by 1 milligram. So now in your right hand you have 10.1, left hand carries 10 kilogram. I ask you which one is heavier, what will be your answer? You will say equal, although it is not. Now I give you 10.2 kg in your right hand and 10 kg in your left hand and ask you which one is heavier, what will be your answer? You will still say equal. And when I increase your right hand weight by 4 mg, I make it 10.4 kilogram, then you say it is 10.1, but actually it is 10.4. इसका मतलब हमारा माइंड स्लो चलता है. Actual changes in the taking place in the environment are very fast, but our perception of change, which is function of mind, is slow. It is delayed. So big changes are seen as just noticeable difference. अभी मैं आपसे पूछूं, ये हनुमान जी का मूर्ति देखा है पूसा रोड में जो है एंट्री पे, और एक छतरपुर का मंदिर देखा है, वहां पर भी एक बड़े बड़े हनुमान जी. मैं आपसे पूछूं दोनों में कौन बड़े हैं, आप नहीं बता पाओगे, जबकि दोनों का हाइट काफी डिफरेंट है, लेकिन उतना डिफरेंट नहीं कि आपको डिफरेंस दिख पाए. Are you getting it? They are not different so much that they appear to be different. आपको डिफरेंस दिखेगा नहीं. If I ask you which of the two vehicles is longer in length, Ford Endeavour और Toyota Fortuner, लंबाई किसकी अधिक है? सिमिलर नहीं है, लेकिन आपको लगेगा सिमिलर है क्योंकि थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है, थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है, वो आप नोटिस नहीं कर पाते. तो इन्होंने एक ऐसा स्केल निकाला, बनाया, जिसमें actual changes in the physical environment would be measured from one side of the scale. ठीक है? While psychological perception of change the counterpart psychological perception of change could be measured from the other side. जैसे मान लो एक्चुअल चेंज हो रहा है 1 2 3 4 यूनिट, साइकोलॉजिकल परसेप्शन ऑफ चेंज कितना होगा? ओनली 1 यूनिट. साइकोलॉजिकल परसेप्शन ऑफ चेंज मान लो यहां हो गया अनदर 4, यानी कि 8 यूनिट, साइकोलॉजिकल परसेप्शन ऑफ चेंज होगा 2 यूनिट्स. तो अगर आपके पास एक ऐसा स्केल है तो आप हमेशा बोल सकते हैं कि ये चीज कितना बदलेगा कि इसको जस्ट बदला हुआ देखा जाएगा. एंड इट बिकेम ऑफ ग्रेट हेल्प in the field of ergonomics. Have you ever thought that how damaging it could be when you look at your mobile phone and your eyes are exposed to the strong light on the screen? है कि नहीं? मोबाइल फोन से जो लाइट निकलता है उससे आंखों को कितना नुकसान पहुंच सकता है. फिर भी लोग मोबाइल क्यों यूज करते हैं? क्योंकि साइकोफिजिकल स्केल का इस्तेमाल करके मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स कीप द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द लाइट जस्ट बाय दैट डिग्री which will not be damaging to your eyes, and yet you can see the color in bright day sunlight. ना तो इतना तेज लाइट देंगे कि आंखें खराब हो जाए, ना ही इतना कम देंगे कि दिन के रोशनी में आपको नंबर ही ना दिखे. और ये कैसे पता चलता है? साइकोफिजिकल स्केल्स. इतना तेज लाइट करेंगे तो इनको इतना दिखे. Are you getting it? So this led to a revolution. Ergonomics, सारी मशीनें ह्यूमन यूजर फ्रेंडली बना दिए गए. टुडे ergonomics is part of artificial intelligence. ठीक है? This classical psychophysicists later on were replaced by modern psychophysicists who gave some of the brilliant experiments in psychology. ठीक है? तो ये तो था structuralism. So I guess it will be too much for you for first day. ठीक है?